really important to make sure you don't have any dust on your surface before you apply your top coat, because if you do, you're going to seal that dust in. And that's when it's not going to feel very smooth either. All right, let's talk about top coats. This is our clear tough coat. It's a water-based product. It's really quite simple to use with a couple of tips. Really important, using our sponge applicator is the easiest way to get a nice, smooth, consistent finish with our top coat. What you want to do is make sure that this is wet. So we're going to take the mister and I'm going to ensure that it's not dry, because if it's dry, it's really going to pull and drag. I'm going to work that in, but at the same time, I'm making sure there's no water left in it. So I'm going to squeeze the water out, get any excess off. It's just so that the sponge itself is a little bit damp, but you don't want water coming out of it. Okay, great. So I'll set that here for a second. Now, you'll want to really roll around your top coat, because what happens is some of the matting agent can settle to the bottom. So if you just use the top, you might get a little glossy spot here and there. So make sure you roll it around. You don't really want to shake it because you're going to put bubbles into it, but it looks perfectly uniform. Fantastic. We do have this available in a gloss as well if you are looking for that as an option. Okay, so our water-based top coat, tough coat, phenomenal, easy to use. We're going to grab the sponge. I like to pour it on a plate just to be able to grab exactly however much I need. Okay, dip, dip, dip. Let the applicator pad soak in a fair bit of it. So you've got it on there. And for our first application, we're just going for a nice light coat from one end to the other without stopping, very thin. And it's okay if it's not fully covered the entire pass, because we're going to do a second coat and that'll cover anything that was missed on the first pass. As I started to work with it and pull it along, it was almost grabbing the wood because the wood is so dry and so porous. If you had a painted surface, it would really glide across much, much easier. Here we go. Make sure you look at it from angles as well, just to make sure you haven't sort of left a big pile of tough coat in an area. So you may notice that I'm doing what I said not to do, which was to go back and forth over it. But when I take a look at the angle and I see a little too much in one spot, because I literally just applied it and it's only been a few seconds, I can go back over it with my sponge before it's had a chance to start to dry. If you wait too long, then you're gonna have a problem if you try and do that. If this is your first time using tough coat, I definitely encourage you to experiment. We'll always give you some really great guidelines of what should work best, but you really need to feel it and learn how quickly it dries and learn how to manipulate it. If you are leaving some too much excess behind and it looks different, then you'll just know next time when you go to apply it, just to try and be a little more consistent in that area. And maybe you have to wipe that back a little bit. So play with it, practice makes perfect, and I'll let this dry, and then I'll come back and do another coat in about an hour. Just as we suggest with our paint, do thin coats when you're applying the tough coat. It's going to allow for an easier application. You're not going to have as many air bubbles or inconsistencies that way. So just keep it in mind. Really super thin with the sponge. You'll barely see it. It'll almost look like you took a wet rag and just wiped the surface.